everybody. Welcome to this awesome celebration of Ben and Beth. Especially those who have travelled from long and far away and from overseas, we welcome you. Thanks so much. And the reason that you have been invited to this celebration is for one very simple reason, that you are hugely important to Ben and Beth, and that's why you're here today. It only seems like yesterday that I was giving my own wedding speech. It wasn't here, but it was at Waterview. And we looked back at some photos just recently, and it looked like I was only 12 years old. And I think there were a number of people here that did allow that to go ahead. I'm not too sure why they allowed that to go ahead, but it was a good thing. And out of that beautiful marriage with my Lyndall, we've had 3 gorgeous children. And Beth is going to be the first one who is leaving our nest and getting married today, and so we celebrate you, Beth.
And now it's time for audience participation. So, I need you to put your hands up if you are a parent. Let's see those parents' hands. Terrific. More over here. Okay, keep those hands up. I now need you to stand up if you are a parent to a son. Let's hear it for parents of sons. Difficult job. Okay, now remain standing if your son has got married. Shouldn't be confused with that. Oh, wow, we're right down. Okay, we're basically at this table. Okay, now I need you to think about this one. This is a complicated question. I need you to think about your son and the lady she married. Remain standing if you knew the bride of your son for longer than you knew your son. So there it is. Sal and I have joined an exclusive club. We're yet to find other members. We have known Beth longer than we have known Ben. How's that? So, Beth, it's been a long wait, but we are so pleased and proud that you've taken on the name Key, you've joined the family, you're married to Ben, and we honestly couldn't be more pleased, and we want to extend the biggest welcome. And I remember when things were really heating up between Ben and Beth, and so Beth came round as the girlfriend one afternoon to come and watch some rugby league. And I remember her sitting very tightly on the sofa, just going, what is this family? And what's going on? Why are they yelling at the TV? But over the last year or so, you've embraced us. You've embraced rugby, cricket, sports, all sorts of things. And we're so happy. And today's a wonderful day. And so welcome to the Key family.
Segue's mine. So, we know where the story ends. Well, sort of starts. We're living it now. But the next question is, where does this whole story start? And we're going to tell a bit of a story about that. Today's wedding really begins on the 8th of March this year, and that was the day Ben proposed to Beth. Many of you would know that Beth had absolutely no idea about what was going to happen. She just thought she was going to Felicity and Jono's for dinner. Where are they? Felicity and Jono. Yeah. I, however, had been let in on the secret just that morning. Others knew the secret before we did. And So while Beth, remember, she had no idea, while she went about her day, totally unaware, I was excitedly holding this beautiful anticipation in my heart. At around 2 p.m. that afternoon, Ben was going to pick her up at about 4, so at about 2 p.m. that afternoon, and remember, I know what was coming, but Beth didn't, Beth is cleaning out her wardrobe. Out of nowhere, I receive a text from her and she sends a photo, and she says, I just found this card in my wardrobe, which I had written many years earlier to Stu and Lyndall on the occasion of Beth's birth, her actual birth. And this is what it said. Dear Stu, Lyndall and Georgia, we rejoice and celebrate with you upon the safe arrival, I'm going to get really teary, of Bethany Claire. What an awesome gift from God. May her life speak always that the Lord is my God, and I will praise him, my Father's God, and I will sing about his greatness. Then I say, what a privilege, another Goulet to love. Love, Sal and Tom. At the time, on the 8th of March, I hadn't needed any extra reassurance about Beth becoming Ben's wife. I already loved her dearly and felt complete peace about their relationship. But in that moment, as I looked at that card, I felt God so clearly say, I'm all over this. This is right. This marriage is ordained. This is meant to be. She could have found that card on any other day.
So there's a well-known line from a poet that I know Beth really resonates with, and it feels just right for this love story that we are witnessing today, and the line goes like this. Isn't it just so pretty to think that all along there was some invisible string leading me to you? And if you've browsed the wedding website, you'll have seen the photo of little Ben and little Beth. And doesn't it make you wonder how this invisible string was being woven long before any of us noticed? So for Sal and Tom and Stu and me, obviously friends before these two were even born, were the clues that we just didn't see. So tonight feels like a chance for us to reflect on that invisible string. And some of you here might like to claim a little bit of credit. Certainly Tom, Sal, Stu and I, we all find ourselves just delighted and kind of incredulous that as friends we now share in this great match. But let me be clear, this is not an arranged marriage, as was said. Although there was a scheme proposed at one parental gathering where we were concocting the idea of a casual meeting involving a small boat, Sydney Harbour, some good food. Ben would want to come, Beth would want to come, and they'd want to come and hang out with us. But that never happened, so perhaps that's for the best. And then even despite Stu actually explicitly saying to Beth, why don't you consider going and meeting Ben? She was like, who's he? Why? No parental assistance was required because the invisible string was already at work. So Beth happened to connect with a new girl at work, just as she was looking to try a new church. I think it's Katie. She invited her to Northlight Anglican, where the Key family had been attending. Beth, I said, that's the church that the Keys go to. Sal, I text. FYI, Beth is going to Northlight tonight. But little by little, Ben and Beth began moving in the same circles, sitting in the same pew on Sundays, attending their randomly allocated growth group on Tuesdays, serving in the same youth group on Fridays, seeing each other multiple times every week. And it wasn't an instant romance, there was an early date, a friend zoning, then a real relationship. Sorry, Ben. Over time, that invisible string tugged a little tighter. They began dating, and Ben became a regular presence at our dinner table, bringing warmth and intentionality, which has been said about you a lot today, Ben, and we appreciate that. But he always came with a big conversation starter question. I don't know if you've experienced the big conversation starter question from Ben, but that was common. But about 3 months in, Ben arrived with another one of those questions. He says, "So Lyndall, does it freak you out that you once gave my mum a word from God about me being born and now I'm dating your daughter?" And at the time, I think I just smiled and nodded, because if I'd said out loud what I was only just beginning to realise, it might have really freaked you out, Ben. So I've been treasuring that realisation ever since you asked that question, and keeping it secretly safe to myself, just waiting for your wedding day to share it with you both.
So, to understand the context of this story, that conversation, I need to take you back to the time when Beth was born. Around then, Tom and I had been, for quite some time, trying to start a family of our own. We were trusting in God's timing, but it was a stretching and a tender season of waiting, especially as so many of our friends were welcoming their second and their third.
So during that season of my life, I was deeply seeking God, and I had a couple of close friends who really longed for children, and I carried that longing with them, and I began praying and fasting regularly. And one day, I can remember it clearly, I was sitting on the floor of what we called the upper room in our house, and I was praying for Sal and Tom, when I was quite abruptly interrupted by the clearest sense of God's voice I've ever experienced in my life. And it was so clear that it startled me, and I would say it was almost like an audible voice, and it is the first and only time in my life that God has spoken that loudly and that clearly. And it wasn't a sentence, it was just 2 words, and those words were double blessing. So I shared these 2 words with Stu and cautiously with my friends Sal and Tom, and little did I know that someone else in their life had shared that exact same message. And we grappled with those 2 words and asked, what will it mean?
So Sal and I carried those words, and they felt like a promise, but it also required a lot of faith. But not long after that, Ben was born. And Ben was a firstborn son in and of itself. That could be a double blessing. And he truly has been an enormous blessing to us. He's been a double blessing within our family. He's big in stature, big in heart, a man who loves with enthusiasm. He gives 100% to everything he does. He has a rare gift of being with people and really making them feel seen and valued. He lights up the room when he comes in with his positivity and his energy and his deep love for God, and that has really shaped his character and has been a great blessing to us, not just once, but twice. But then, 17 months later, Will was born. And so we thought, with this wonderful strapping man, is this the double blessing? We have 2 sons. How fortunate are we? But then, 19 months later, Sam comes along. So now the double blessing is partly confusing until Peter Costello said, 3 months before Sam was born, he said, one for Mum, one for Dad, and one for the country. So Sam is the one for the country. He's all yours. Then there's more. Because 18 months later, and Laura and Claire, we have twins, and we thought, if ever there's a double blessing, it's got to be twins. So we thought, surely the double blessing has doubled itself out. We're done.
But we're not. Because years later, when Beth arrived at St Matt's and I saw her chatting so easily with Ben, not that I was looking, something stirred in my spirit. I found myself wondering, could this actually be another double blessing? I'd walk home after the 6 p.m. service along Kendall Street, quietly asking God, is this actually real? They weren't going out at the time. Could Beth be another gift, another double blessing for our family? And she actually truly has been. Beth is such a blessing. To them, to us, and to everyone, all of us in the room who know her. We could not have imagined Beth anyone more perfectly suited to walk beside Ben through life.
So to circle back to your question then, when you asked me if it freaked me out, honestly, I was quietly delighted, probably knowing me trying to hide a Cheshire cat grin, but I was fairly certain that we would be standing right here witnessing the marriage of you two. And the way God speaks is often mysterious, and it has layers, and it unfolds over time. For me, double blessing was first revealed like this, that the baby that I prayed for arrived, an answer to prayer, and a blessing to that family. And now, years later, I'm still amazed that this baby is quite literally a blessing to my own family and an answer to our prayers for who Beth might love and be loved by and share her life with. So Ben, we welcome you into our family as a gift from God, and as Beth and Ben begin their life together, we believe their marriage itself is marked by these two same words, double blessing. Not only blessed, but a blessing to others. And I don't know if, we didn't design this with this in mind, but is this more invisible string, the B and the B, the double blessing in their logo? So we've got a clear glimpse of that invisible string now, woven long, long before any of us knew that it was even there. And I think truly, Ben and Beth, you are a match made in heaven.
So as we stand here now, the four of us, looking at Ben and Beth, we see that this story was never random and never rushed. Long before either of you were born, long before prayers were spoken, cards were written, or paths were crossed, God was already at work. He was weaving together a story far bigger than we could ever have imagined. Ben and Beth, your love is a testimony to God's faithfulness, His perfect timing, and His beautiful orchestration of lives that were always meant to meet. Today, we don't just celebrate a wedding, we celebrate a God who knew, who planned, and who lovingly brought you both together. May you always trust Him, the same God who wrote your beginning, and He will faithfully guide your future.
So what we thought was going to be a father to the bride speech really turned out to, we had a conversation very briefly about what we're going to talk about, and clearly realised that they were so similar in nature, the content of our speeches. That's why we put it together, just because we needed to be told. But Beth, we are so incredibly proud of the woman that you've become. And yes, we're going to miss you more than words can say. We're not going to hold you back. We're going to set you free with Benny. And it's going to be an amazing life that we want to watch from the sidelines. My Beth has really helped me to see the world differently. She's taught me to notice the small wonders that otherwise I might have missed. And, like the things like a butterfly in your hand. Or a sunrise or a sunset. Or a cloud and the colours and the lighting of the cloud. Like, they're all things that I take for granted sometimes. Beth seems to notice them. And thank you, babe, for reminding me. She's got a real eye for beauty. And she sees it in places that often others don't. And my Beth also really just carries this real sense of justice and a genuine care for people. And I'm sure you've all been a recipient of that. She has an eye for those people who are hurting and overlooked, and that softness. She has an ability to, sit and listen to people and to connect, and often with people who are much older than herself. We remember, even as a child, that she would be with her grandma Marty, and she would be more comfortable having a conversation with Marty and her girlfriends with a cup of tea than her friends of her own age. She's always been comfortable meeting people exactly where they are. She is a true ambivert. Neither extrovert nor introvert. She can be the laugh of the room, channeling her inner Cameron Diaz. Those completely unself-conscious and slightly ridiculous dance moves that she has, and somehow makes everybody laugh. And yet you are content just to be in your own space, in solitude and reflection. My Beth is present and intentional and fully engaged in the moment. Like Sal said about Ben, I think, I love it when Beth walks into a room. You do bring a real light to it. That's my Beth. You bring joy to a moment, even without trying. Now, Benny, a few weeks ago we were playing classic catches in the pool. We witnessed something very telling from that. Benz! You called out. It's not just a call, it was an absolute declaration. What did it say? It says, I've got my eye on the ball. The rest of you can stand down. I've got this. I've assessed the situation, and out of all of you non-sport people, I have the greatest chance of success here. It's okay, buddy. I'm trying. It also said, I'm willing to put my skin on the line, prepared to lose a bit of skin if that's what it takes. And then there's the catch. The elation, the grin, a quick look around for a bit of acknowledgement. Suddenly, Ben, you're standing just a little taller, as if I wasn't having enough of an issue being short. But Ben, that's exactly what we see with you, with Beth. From the very beginning, you've called Benz on this one. You've kept your eye on her, and she is your everything. She is the classic catch. So my advice for you, Benny, is a simple one. Never take your eye off Beth. If Beth remains in the forefront of your mind, there is no room for distraction. Tell her you love her every day. Let it be the first and last word from your lips. Say it confidently and proclaim, like you do the classic catch, that you've got this. You have made an almighty catch, Benny. It's my turn to stand down. You've got Beth in your hands. And we want the history books to note the score. Stu 0, Tom 1. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, that's it. Ben 1. So we, Tom, Sal, Lyndall and myself. And every single person that is here today are firmly on the sidelines cheering you guys on. And Benny, if the moment ever feels uncertain, we know that you will bring the energy with your famous "Let's go!" So, please everybody, with your glasses charged, can I get you to stand with me? Oh, we need glasses. Fill your glasses up. And we'll pause for suspense. Oh, thanks, Sal. Huh? Oh, no one's mentioning. I'm not going to say anything. As we raise our glasses to Ben and to Beth. To Ben and Beth.
Congratulations to Ben and Beth. You look absolutely amazing on your special day, especially Beth. Even the minister wanted to marry you.
A text also came through from Stuart Lyndall. Thanks, Stuart Lyndall. Is Will Key single? We've got another daughter.
From this spot. I have had the honour and privilege of being Beth's older sister for the last 24 years, and I can confidently say that she is an absolute treasure. And as the older sister, I felt it was my duty to give you some insight into Beth that you may or may not know. But as I look around this room, I realise that most of you have either known Beth for, well, all of her life, or you've played a very significant role in her life. So you already know that she's a joy to be around, she's a bit clumsy, but she's smart, and she's funny, and she cares deeply for people, and she's beautiful both inside and out. But Beth is also someone who is very put together. She's thoughtful and careful and very intentional about most things that she does, and honestly, what she posts. If Beth ever puts something on Instagram, you can be sure she's thought about it, carefully considered the caption, and decided if it represents, she's giving me side eye right now, who she is. And so because I'm her older sister, and that comes with certain privileges, I may have hacked her phone, and I may have made an Instagram account dedicated to Beth's life. So if you'd like to go on a little journey of Beth through the years, you can follow @BethFoundHerKey on Instagram. And yes, guys, don't worry, Beth knows about this now. So, I can give you this one here, Beth. I've set it up for you already. So if everyone wants to find on Instagram, Beth found her key. Oh, you got one there? I'm just going to leave this here so you can follow anyway. Look it up, type it in, type it in. How's everyone going? Are we getting there? Slow? Okay, well, we can let it linger. We can wait, we can wait. There's a few cackles, people are finding it. Data's slow, okay. We're going to speak slowly then, and hopefully things will start popping up. Let's hope this data comes through. Okay, so we're going to begin with Bethany as a baby. Of course, she was extremely cute, very chubby, and smart enough to let Mum and Dad carry her everywhere before she finally decided to walk at 18 months. She was a smart cookie from the very beginning. But you can please refresh to see these very, very cute baby pictures. If data's loading, this is the downside of this being a technological speech. Oh, that's nice. Because they're being posted as we go through, guys. This is the downside. Okay, we're going to move on. So you can refresh to see Beth and I as a very cute duo. Beth and I love to play Barbies together. Beth and I loved playing with her Barbie caravan, which had a little pool in it that you could fill with water, and it also lit up, which was super cool. We also had the Princess and the Pauper Barbies, which were the blue and pink sisters, and I was blue and Beth was pink, naturally. But we just did super, super cute girl things. But then we found out we had another sibling on the way. But don't worry, we were thrilled, and one day Beth was asked what we should name the baby. And she said very confidently, if it's a girl, we'll call her Rose. And if it's a boy, we'll call him Pooh. So Beth has always been creative, confident, and very committed to her ideas. So Pooh is our younger brother. Sorry, Joel. But we have been a great trio since he joined us. And all that time, he has been carefully studying exactly how to push Beth's buttons, and has gotten very good at it. But Beth was also a fashion diva from a very young age. She surprisingly loved wearing colour. It's a bit of a shock horror now that she's in her neutral palette, but you would often see her in bright pinks and oranges. But she was also very stubborn, and honestly still is. One summer day I asked Beth when I was little to come swimming with me, and she refused, saying it was too cold. But Mum and Dad made her go anyway, as Mum and Dad does. And so as I'm sitting by the pool in my cute little bikini, I watch Beth enter the pool area wearing a beanie, a scarf, and a woolen jumper to prove her point. So you can refresh your Instagram hopefully eventually to see this iconic outfit and me just a little bit disappointed next to the pool. So Beth is stubborn and will always prove you wrong, even in summer. And as I'm sure you're aware now, Beth and Ben actually met as kids. They were cuddling up watching movies together from a young age. And eventually you'll see that post too when the data works. But this foreshadowed exactly how they spent their evenings today. But the Keys moved to another church, and we're kind of glad that they did, because we're quite glad that Ben missed the 20 years of Instagram filters and Snapchat filters and blogs and coloured aviators. What a time. And he also missed the great Harry Potter obsession. Beth was a passionate Ravenclaw. But at the end of the 2015 era, Beth had officially grown into the most beautiful soul. She began her neutral and minimalist, iconic fashion style, and she loved going on adventures, pursuing friendships, and making fun along the way. She was even publicly acknowledged for this. At her graduation ceremony, Beth received the Joy of Living and Friendship Award. Now, only a school like Pacific Hills Christian School gives out these kind of awards. But as light-hearted as it sounds, they put words to the deepest truth of who Beth is, because she genuinely lives out her joy in friendships and the way that she lives her life. But she's also super-duper smart. She did extremely well in her HSC and received first-class honours in her Masters in Psychology. So, quick summary. She's kind, smart, joyful, funny, adventurous, iconic, and fashionable. It's a classic catch. We're very glad that you put a ring on her, Ben. But you are the perfect fit for each other. You're the lock to Ben's key. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're the sugar to Ben's shorty. The NRL, so I don't know any NRL references. But you match each other's kindness and your love for your friends and crazy dance moves and love for God. And as you unlock this next season, I pray that you will find joy in creating your everyday rhythms and creating new adventures together. And it has been such a joy being your big sister, Beth. You continue to teach me how to be thoughtful and bring joy to everyday moments and be involved in community. You have bloomed in your relationship with Ben and bring out the best in each other. And I'm so thankful to have had you as my best friend for all of this time. But we are also blessed to receive you into the family, Ben. Thank you for also bringing joy into our lives. We love your enthusiasm you bring to any environment, and the conversation starter cards you seem to keep in your back pocket for any conversation. We love your attention to detail and how caring and clever you are, and the way that you love Beth. You are equally a treasure, and we're so looking forward to doing more life with you. So here's to Beth finding her key. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you, Georgia. All right, folks, it's time to welcome to the mic the man, the myth, the very unpredictable legend of a best man. Now, we don't know if he's written a speech tonight, and we actually don't even know if he knows that he's about to do a speech. But please welcome to the mic, Luke Schofield.
I'm so sick of you, Will Peterson. I don't have to take this. I had a feeling that Will Peterson might take a shot at me because it's just who he is, what he does. Okay, he's a negative guy. And I actually, that's a joke. That's a joke. And I actually prepared some comebacks. I wrote them down. Okay. I was a bit worried about saying this one, but Lil, you actually made me feel very comfortable saying this with your opening remarks. So I'll run you through all my responses actually, and then Ben, it's we'll get to you, but come on. What did you just say to me? It's so disrespectful. Okay, Will Peterson, I don't know how to counter you. You are an alien life form, and I think you should go back to your mothership and exit the atmosphere with your colony. You make me sick. Alright, that's number one. These two are, this is a question. Do you think that Will Peterson is trustworthy? Will Peterson is a liar. Okay, does Will know what I will do to him? Okay, so we had the great opportunity of staying with the Gourlays many months ago now, maybe last year, in Avoca. And there was one really beautiful, balmy evening down by the beach. And Peter and I decided that we would go skinny dipping. And I have seen his Willie Peterson, and I mean, even did I? It was so imperceptible, and you know, it was a dark evening, it was a new moon. Well, that was fun. Okay. We'll talk after, Will. We'll talk after. Okay. So I imagine you might be expecting that I'm here to tell you what you already know about Ben. If you're here for Beth, maybe you are hoping that with my superior intimate knowledge, I would put to rest any worries you might have about the suitability of her husband. And if you know Ben, that I would do him justice and celebrate this great man that we all love. But this is a toast, as far as I can tell. You've probably got a drink, maybe even had a drink, and there are so many of us that if we're really going to understand each other, the headache caused by the question, did Ben really do that, needn't bug us. Okay, you wouldn't ask, for instance, did Ben really collapse the spirit of West Epping when he made his 118 not out at whatever ground it is near Eaton Park? It's just a nonsense question, but anyway, you'll know when we're entering into particularly speculative, creative non-fiction about Ben, because in the way that I deliver those statements, my tone will shift from earnest, sincere, trustworthy to ironic and deceptive and performative, so you've got nothing to worry about. But who really is Ben Key? Well, I've known Ben for a while, but trying to remember the beginning of our friendship is like trying to remember the beginning of a dream. We're told that in October 2002 Ben was born, but we were never sent to a school together or put in a team together. And so to me, Ben was fundamentally, in street terms, downtown. Okay, he was a downtown kid, East Side. And we'd clock each other at West Pymble Football and Cricket Club mixing events. He was there for sure. And I certainly recall breathing in the air of distance. Maybe you remember that. When Ben was 12, he was in a gang. We both had started to mill around the great Northlight Anglican, then St Matt's. And Ben and his henchmen were in those days in the grip of quite serious idolatry, namely in the form of a devotion to the life and works of Eminem, whose rhymes apparently deeply moved Ben, spoke to his experience, alongside hardcore parkour, which speaks for itself. Bladesy and I, Callum Bladen, he's a West Side kid, we used to go down to the exercise park looking for love or blood on Loughberg Oval. And in those days, Ben was feared, okay? He was tall and uncompromising and blunt. Uncrossable, basically, and it was only later, inside the walls of St. Matt's, that something like a friendship emerged. Weren't we loved? We had a string of... maybe I should flag sincerity. Here it is. You've got it. Nathan Thursby, Lewis Bennett, who came tonight, they were our youth leaders from Year 6. They were busy. They were complex people who were fun and charismatic. These guys would, break bread with us. Basically children a couple of times a week for years and years from when we were 11. And I don't have a concept of friendship, of love, of memories with you that isn't shaped by that miracle arrangement. I don't think you can overstate what a gift that is, to be loved so steadily at that age. It wasn't just that we were kept out of trouble. Seriously, we were shown a way of being young that held things together that usually get pulled apart. And so at St. Matt's there was a lightness in the air at the time. It was fun, and Ben thrived in that. This fearsome downtown kid, this Eminem disciple, this hardcore parkour prophet of Loughberg Oval, slowly becoming, without ever really announcing it, the warmest presence in every room. And I like that. That's something that we've all picked up on tonight. Because the thing about Ben is that he's always loved games. He's always loved fun, but he's never loved them in a way that made other people feel small. It's why I think he's not very, or doesn't seem to love competition. He loved games because they made people feel happy. He loved the spirit of it. He loved the moment where a shy person would get involved, or the person on the edge would get pulled into the centre. And in those early days, that's how I felt. I felt on the edge. I wasn't as outgoing as Ben, and Ben brought me in. That's how I remember our friendship starting. And he continues to bring me in. And there are many people in this room that I love, completely thanks to an introduction from Ben, and I'll never be able to repay you for that. Okay, anyway, in 2017, Ben and Eddie Westcott, he's here tonight, started a podcast called The Fountain of Youth. And I don't know if this is a yarn that has travelled across the Gourlay family. Okay, great. And this is a real thing that is out there for you to listen to it now. And I want you to listen to it, not necessarily now. And I challenge you to get through it without crying. Tears of laughter or otherwise. And, anyway, there's this basic affection in it between Ben and Eddie, who I love as well. This gentleness. And I would trade many things to sit down with you, Ben, as a 15-year-old, and you, Eddie, as a 15-year-old, and just chat with you guys. Yeah. And so around that same time, if you want to understand Ben, you also have to mention the film. There was a film released in 2017 called The Two of Us. And The Two of Us stars Ben Key as one of the titular two. And it's basically feature length, and Ben stars in it as himself. He's given another name, Luke, which is already a beautiful idea, right? Ben playing Ben, except with, there are some minor character adjustments. He eats too much cereal. And he loves not wisely, but too well. And that might make sense until you watch the film. You should watch the film. It's actually really touching. That might seem strange, but it is. As you can imagine, that sort of his impediments there strain his friendship in the film. I can't believe I'm talking about this film. Now, the absolute standout of that film is Ben's complete failure to hide the fact that he is having the time of his life being in a movie with his friends. Some actors can cry on cue, they sort of melt in the screen. Ben does not melt into that screen. He is there, and it is such a joy, Beth, you have to watch it. And the film has an emotional climax. Eddie, I think his character's name's Ryan. He genuinely melts away into this heartbroken character. He petitions Luke. He says, "Bro, you've stabbed me in the heart. We're over." And Nick Radford beautifully, holds the camera on Ben. It lingers on him. We look into him, and we get the most joyful, innocent, confused. What? And he is laughing as he says it. The very idea that love could be withdrawn in this moment is completely foreign, and Ben is still having the absolute best time of his life. When Ben is enjoying himself, why would you do anything else, even if you're playing a character that's painful? Okay. So there are other moments from that era that feel like pure Ben Key that I think, if you want to get a sense of him, you should know. Will reminded me of one recently, and it's truer than true, although I do think it is also, in the strictest sense, actually true. The Key children ran a long campaign to get a household pet. I think they wanted like a dog or a cat or something, but in a house of 7, there were negotiations. Tom and Sal, so I'm told, landed on the compromise of guinea pigs. Now, I don't know what your impression is of Ben in terms of his relationship with guinea pigs, but I'm told that Ben showed very little interest in the prospect of an ongoing emotional bond with a couple of rodents. However, the prospect of giving something a name, now that was an honour that Ben understood. And so to this day I actually also learned tonight that they're dead. Rest in peace. But there's like a rodent that was called Kevin or something that Kevin? Is that right? Timmy, yeah. And Ben gave it that name, and the record is that he didn't want to hold that thing, he didn't want to look at it, he didn't want to feed it, had nothing to do with it, but I think Ben understood guinea pigs better than most of us ever will in that moment. I mean, what does a guinea pig really bring into anyone's life? What it did bring in that household was compromise. It brought peace, it brought the animal that they were looking for. And Ben understood that that was the thing to be celebrated, not whatever it is, even that a guinea pig is. All right, where am I? Okay. All right, those are funny stories, but I'm telling them because I think there is a straight line from that teenage Ben to the man with us tonight on the precipice of real change. And that is because Ben is a man of character. And Ben's character, it seems to me, is the product of a person deeply sensitive to the ways that optimism, forgiveness, and encouragement can build someone from the ground up. He's had some great models, from Tom and Sal to Nathan and Lewis, to Steve Gardner and Julie and Steve and Phil and Fisher, Kurt and Beck. Ben is a deep admirer of character. It's the object of his heart, placed there by his Saviour. Isn't it true that when you meet someone and you fall in love, your view on the future transforms completely? I say this because, like everybody who is not in love, I used to imagine that you choose the person you love after endless deliberation and on the strength of diverse qualities and advantages. And I think the only thing correct in that is the choosing. What I admire most about you, Ben, and the thing that, for you, Beth, I think is going to bring you a lot of joy, is this act of choosing to be loved. Ben Shaw can be whipped up into an emotional storm. He's passionate and expressive and spontaneous, but beneath that, he's fiercely committed to his word. He's grateful for the life in his lungs, and he's stubborn in his impulse towards grace. He is somebody who would give you assurance. He is somebody who would much rather suffer evil than do it. So, I'd like to raise a glass. Probably should raise a glass, but you can do it on my behalf. Thank you. To Ben and Beth, I love you both. Cheers.
Just a quick update. update from the text line that's come through from Wilkie. Is Georgia single? Stu, Linda, we might have another arranged marriage on the scene. Second text has come through from Ben, the groom himself. Reminder, the wishing well's outside.
Thanks so much everyone for being here. We're so excited that we get to celebrate our marriage, that we got married, and that you all are here to come and celebrate us. But before we thank people, we wanted to first of all thank God for bringing us all here, bringing clearly me and Ben together, as we found out tonight. And we are just, so grateful that God was so thoughtful in bringing our parents together all those years ago, bringing that prophecy to Mum and the other lady all those years ago, and all the meanings that has brought around. And we just feel so overwhelmed by how clearly God's hand has worked through our story, and how even in this whole wedding planning season, there were just so many easy moments, and I just think that's all thanks to God. And I think the fact that you're all here is just such a testament to that as well, because we are so overwhelmed when we look around just about how blessed we are to know each and every one of you. I'm stealing Ben's line here, but I kind of jumped the gun, sorry Ben. But one of the easiest decisions to make when we were doing the guest list was literally who was in this room. We are so overwhelmingly blessed to call each one of you friends and family. And we wanted each and every one of you in this room. So if you're in this room, it's for a reason. It's because of the blessing that you've been to me and Ben. So I wanted to say a huge thank you for being here and for loving us the way that you do. It's not unseen by us or not felt by us.
Just to echo what Beth said, we're just so grateful. If you're in this room, we are so bloody grateful for you, and it's not an accident that you're here. What was that? Alright. All done? So we do want to do some huge special thank yous to certain people, because a wedding doesn't happen by itself, and we definitely couldn't have done it by ourselves. So firstly, thank you so much to the people that have travelled to be here. We're especially grateful for the effort you've made to make it to our wedding. So a massive thank you to Margaret, who's come from Armidale, to Ben and Dottie, who have come back from Beach Mission and are going back again. To Kurt and Beck, who've come from Lightning Ridge. To Mick and Julie, who've come from Brisbane. To Janelle, Ian and Max, who've come from Melbourne. And to Katie, who's come all the way from Switzerland. Thank you so much for being here, and we're just so grateful that you've made an effort to make our day even more special.
And we also want to say an enormous thank you to everyone who has contributed to making today possible. As I've learnt and Ben's learnt over the last 9 or so months, a wedding is not an easy thing to plan, despite what we both naively thought when we started planning. So thank you to many people who helped us out in the process, whether it was praying for us or helping us practically, or a million other ways that we've been helped out through this beautiful community that we are blessed to get. We are so grateful. We literally couldn't have been in this room without you. We can't thank everyone, but specifically we wanted to call out a few people. One of whom is the band at the ceremony. I'm sure that many of you got to witness that beautiful singing that they got to do, and the music that they performed. And so we're so grateful, especially to Ben Hayward, who did so much of the organising and finding the lyric sheets, and I didn't even know how to do that. So thank you so much, Ben Hayward, for all your help in the band. And to my wonderful sister, who gave a great speech and made an Instagram that I'm mad about. But anyway, but sung beautifully, and I love you for that. And also thank you so much to our minister, Carl, for marrying us and the time that you've invested in us. We first met, I love First Bloom from we were in Carl's Bible study about 3 years ago. So Carl has put a lot of effort into our relationship and met with us multiple times, and we're really grateful for him. Also to Chippo for taking so much time and effort out of your very busy life to prepare us for marriage and to run the ceremony today. You never made us feel like we were wasting your time, or like you never gave any inkling that you're busy, even though you're a very busy man, and we're really grateful for the time that you put so intentionally into us, and that's time that we'll treasure all throughout our marriage. So we're really grateful for you and the prayers that you've given us.
Thank you to Matt for tying all the groomsmen bow ties today.
And grateful, Matt. We also want to thank the incredible, the talented, the runner, doctor, baker, cake maker, Harry Chalmers. Thank you for the most amazing wedding cake ever. When we first said we wanted a wedding cake, we didn't specify how large, in our heads thinking small, and his head thinking huge, and he still said yes, even though he doesn't have a professional kitchen. So that shows his generosity. So thank you so much for this amazing wedding cake that you've made for us. We are so blessed. Thank you to Dottie for all your flawless DJing work, past, present, and future, especially the near future tonight. And of course, thank you to the beautiful, the funny, the effortless, the charming Will and Lil for emceeing our reception so amazingly. And thank you for the sacrifice of Luke's sledging that he had to experience as part of that.
One absolutely massive thank you that we want to give though, and one that please put your hands together for, is for the behind the scenes coordinator extraordinaire, Lana, who truly made this day happen. There's just so much here that, just would not be here. You'd all probably be sitting on the floor if it wasn't for Lana. So please give her a massive round of applause. Some more thank yous that we want to give. We want to thank our grandparents for the time, the love, the energy they've invested in us over the years. Having a strong relationship with your grandparents is really special and something that we don't take for granted. So thank you, George, Marty, Phil, Jenny, John and Loveday, as well as Barry and Diana, who we're sure are watching on from above. So thank you, guys.
And of course, the biggest thank you of all is reserved for our parents, Stu, Lyndall, Mum and Dad, and Sal and Tom, our mother-in-law and father-in-law. Thank you for raising us, for teaching us everything we know, literally, and continuing to point us to Jesus. Thank you for all your patience, especially in this wedding season when everyone wants to have opinions, including myself, and that's not always possible. So thank you for your patience, your grace, and your love, and especially for all of the endless energy, time, and resources you've poured into making this day possible. I genuinely, this wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and so we're just so grateful. And you also have supported us and empowered us as we begin to get married, and even in that beautiful speech that you gave together, which just, is so powerful for us. We're just so grateful for the influence that you've had in our life, not only individually, but as a joint force together. So we're so grateful for you both. Okay. All right. I also want to thank all of Ben's amazing groomsmen who are sitting here in front of me. They say you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with, and if these 5 people are the people that represent Ben, I think it makes a lot of sense. I can see your influence on Ben and his character, and I'm so grateful that Ben has people like you in his life. Each and every one of you I love so dearly, and I'm so grateful that Ben has chosen you to be the key people in his life, and that's so represented today. And so blessed to call you all friends of mine as well. So thank you so much for loving Ben the way that you do, and for being a part of our day today. On that thought, when I was thinking about you guys and the way that you've influenced Ben, I was thinking about my own 5 people that have influenced me and have helped me become the person that I am today. And I realised just how lucky I am. The idea kept coming back to me as I thought about today, not just about Ben and our marriage, but about other elements of my own life too. And each of you, my bridesmaids, have shaped my life in a different way. And I've learned so many life lessons from each of you. So I reflected on the people closest to me and thought about the lessons that you guys have taught me. Abby, from you I have learned that to be loved is to be seen. You see people and you see beyond facades and you want to know people deeply. You notice and name the beauty in people and in the world that other people would just never notice. Seriously, if you've ever been on a bushwalk with Abby, you would see how many rocks she points out that you think would be like, that's just a rock, Abby. And she'd go, no, it's a beautiful rock. And you go, okay, Abby. You are kind, you are caring, you are so consistent and so reliable, and I'm so blessed to get to do life with you. And while Abby has taught me how to truly see people, my good friend Katie has taught me where to fix my eyes. Katie, from you, I have learned to seek God in all circumstances. Katie is a friend that everyone should have. I truly recommend her. She is adventurous, silly, intentional, and very faith-filled. Through all seasons in her life, however difficult, she has grown in her faith and intentionally sought God. And it hasn't always been easy. She encourages my faith and is a prayer warrior. She also got engaged about 2 weeks ago too, so it's very exciting to get to do this season with her. Well, about 2 weeks, sorry. And she also weathered, as we said, 40 hours of travel to get here, and not many friends would do that, so I'm very grateful that you're here today. Thank you. Now, you're going to have to let me indulge myself. I've been friends with Ella now for 10 years, so I have 3 lessons I've learned from her. The first is to love and embrace adventure. Ella loves adventure. She's a bit of an addict, so much so that once she kind of went, sailing sounds good, sailing sounds like a fun adventure. You know what, I'll buy a sailboat. Did she know how to sail a sailboat? No. Did she know if the sailboat worked that she bought? No. Did she know the legal requirements of sailing a sailboat, like having life jackets on board? No. But she went for it anyway. And that brings me to my second life lesson, to fear Ella's sailboat. So that took me a few little too many near-death experiences to find out, but thank you for that life lesson. But in all seriousness, one of the biggest life lessons that Ella has taught me is to celebrate the little things. I've been clearing out my room, preparing to move out, and went through one of my card boxes that I've just kept of cards that people have given me. And while I was looking through, I just was overwhelmed by seeing how many cards that you have written me throughout my life, whether it's an exam that I was doing, celebrating the fact that I've gotten over an illness, or just any other little thing in life. You had written me a card for it. And so from you, Ella, I've learned to celebrate the little things, and I'm so honoured that I get to be a part of the celebration that you live, and that you've taught me that lesson in life, so thank you. Bronte, from you, I've learned that what it looks like to know oneself and remain true to yourself. Bronte means what she says. She's fiercely loyal and will advocate for the people in her corner, and I have got to be part of that advocacy. She believes strongly in Secret Santa rules, so don't cross her. And I'm so blessed to get to have her as a friend and cousin. She is a powerful friend and advocate. She's quick to encourage, and she prioritises family, which I get to benefit from. And I love you very dearly, and I'm so glad to get to be one of my classmates. I love you. And Georgia. Georgia was my first life partner. Sorry, Ben. She's taught me how to be a good life partner. You're welcome. We've been partners now for over 24 years. I was the pink sister with the pink Barbie. You were the blue sister with the blue Barbie, as you said. We went through all of our awkward life stages together, which I'm now horrified is in Instagram. And we have changed together and been on our own very unique journeys, but we've loved each other through it. While I will miss getting to share a wall with you and getting to steal your clothes, and getting to debrief our days together, you are truly my best friend. And you've taught me how to partner well with people, including Ben, so I love you very much. These are the people who have shaped my character, my values, and the way I love. If I even get to be a portion of one of these 5 girls, I am a truly blessed woman indeed. So thank you so much for being in my corner. also want to acknowledge Ben's sisters, Claire and Laura, and the impact that they've had on my life. Since dating Ben for the last 2 years, it's been so lovely to get to experience your joy and love for life and excitement to get to chat and get to be a sister to you guys. We've lived in a very big boy household, so thank you for giving me that honour. And I'm so excited to get to be your sister-in-law for it. Before I get to Ben, which is coming, I want to acknowledge the first two people who shaped who I am. Mum and Dad, you guys created a home full of joy and love and music and fun. And I'm so sad to leave and not to get to be at home with you guys anymore, but I'm so grateful for the impact you guys have had on my life. You are both one of a kind, and I distinctly remember telling you when I was about 7 years old that I'd rather have no other parent than you. You guys are my favourite parents. And I have a lot of other parents that's on that table, but you guys are my favourites over everyone else. I love you very much, and especially with this wedding, if you guys see anything and you go, oh, that's pretty, that's probably my mum's idea, and she probably brought it to fruition. So we're very grateful for Lyndall and all of the beauty that she sees and creates, and for my dad for being the architect and the project manager of that. So I'm very grateful for you both. So back to when they say you become like the people you spend most time with, then you're now the person that is shaping me more than anyone else. Loving Ben has been very educational. I've learned what offside means in the NRL. I've learned what the Ashes are. I've learned how good the lorry is. And I've learned the art of a Spotify queue, so thank you for that. I've also learned that community is not made by accident, but through intention. When you're with someone, you make them feel like they're the only person in the room and the most important person in the room. You love generously and you do not hold back. You never hold a grudge. You forgive easily and you choose to consistently see the best in people. I have learned that you can create fun wherever you are, even in church. Inappropriate. But what you really taught me is how love is meant to feel. When I've had a bad day at work and I'm completely overwhelmed, you love me so well. You make me feel so seen, so loved. You are calm when I am not. You are wise when I feel overwhelmed, and you provide me with a sense of home and safety. You are the person who makes me laugh when I need it the most. You don't expect me to be anyone other than my perfect self. Your presence makes me feel calm and safe, and I'm at home whenever I'm with you. You are the most special person I've ever had the privilege to love. And as I told you in our vows today, I cannot wait for a life where we get to cherish, to care, and to love you. And I look forward to celebration with you in times of success and joy, and to be there for you in times of hardship and sadness. I desire to build you up and encourage you in all that you do, so that I might see you reach your full potential in Christ. If we really do get to become like the people we love most, then marrying you is the greatest gift, because I love coming with you. You are my best friend, my partner, my home, and now my husband. And I love you so much.
How am I meant to follow that? So firstly, I want to thank the bridesmaids. You're all faithful, reliable, loving people and friends. And you've all contributed to shape Beth into the person that she is today. And that's no easy feat because she is an absolute masterpiece. So thank you, Abby, Katie, Ella, Bunty and Georgia. To my groomsmen, Luke, thank you for being my best mate, for riding the highs and lows with me, for never judging me, and for always listening. There's no one funnier than you, there's no one more welcoming than you, and there's no one with more crazy life events than you. It feels like your life sometimes is a never-ending episode of Hamish and Andy's Gap Year, and it is a true privilege to watch on and sometimes be a part of it. Nothing can faze you, and you are incredibly good at choosing to focus on the things that are worth focusing on. Thank you for valuing and prioritising our friendship and for being a man of God who loves his friends and family like Christ loves us. Blades, thank you for always being someone I can rely on, for making me laugh when I don't want to, and for always saying how it is. Thank you for always understanding me and for always having my back. Sometimes feel like we might have been twins separated at birth, but your drop-dead gorgeous looks probably disprove that theory. You're a hard worker, and I'm blessed that something you work hard on is growing our friendship. Ben, thank you for always lighting up the room and for relentlessly pointing me to the truth and love of Jesus, but always in the most gracious way possible. You're an inspiration to me in how not to let life weigh you down, to see how God is working through everything, and also not to take things too seriously. Will, thank you for your lifelong competition, for always pushing me to be better, even if you might not have thought that you were. You are cool, you are handsome, you are single, and I wish I was blessed with your bronze complexion. You charge headfirst at life, and I'm grateful to call you my brother. Sam, you are patience, gentleness, peace, and kindness in human form. You always have a smile on your face, and you are a blessing to me and everyone around you. Thank you for always saying yes, and for being an amazing brother. So thank you. And Joel, my new brother, thank you for welcoming into your family, the good times that we've had, and all the good times ahead. Thank you to my parents, to mum and dad. I couldn't have asked for more loving, sacrificial, caring parents. You've always been there. Thank you for carrying me through times when I couldn't do it myself. Dad, thank you for your wisdom, your counsel, your humour, and for being so strong all the time. Mum, thank you for your never-ending care, kindness, energy, and faith. I've never seen anyone have such intimate relationships with God, and both of your life reflects that. And Beth, my beautiful bride, I actually want to tell you the last thing that Beth said to me before we parted ways yesterday. And she said to me, Ben, I need to come clean on something. I've lied to you. And I said, babe, what is it? You can tell me anything. And she said, you know what, Ben? It actually did hurt a little bit when I fell down from heaven. Beth is a true angel in human form. And I know that anyone who knows her well will agree to that. Am I right? Beth, you care so deeply about the people around you. You go out of your way to make sure that people feel seen, heard, and loved. You are so funny. You are so compassionate. You care so much about making things right. And you have so much integrity with the way you live your life. You're endlessly gracious and forgiving, and are so bloody fun to be around. Watching the way you live your life is truly inspiring and sometimes even intimidating with just how amazing you are. But above everything, what I love about you most is your heart for Jesus, the way that you serve others, and the way that the fruits of the Spirit overflow out of you. I've never been more sure of anything than the fact that I want to spend every day of my life with you running towards Jesus together. I can't believe that I get to call you my wife, and I'm forever grateful that you said yes to me when I came crawling back for a second date. Marrying you is the easiest decision I will ever make. So my beautiful bride, Beth Key. Here's to the rest of our lives.